Even as the nation was at war with itself, President Lincoln had the wisdom to look forward, and he recognized that finding a way to harness the highest caliber scientific advice for the government would serve a whole range of long-term goals for the nation. It was the same foresight that led him to establish land-grant colleges and finish the Transcontinental Railroad. The idea that the essence of America is this hunger to innovate, this restlessness, this quest for the next big thing. And although much of this innovation would be generated by the powers of our free market, the investments and the convening power of the federal government could accelerate discovery in a way that would continually push the nation forward. That's our inheritance, and now the task falls to us. We too face significant challenges, obviously not of the magnitude that President Lincoln faced, but we've got severe economic and security and environmental challenges. And what we know from our past is that the investments we make today are bound to pay off many times over in the years to come. So, we will continue to pursue advances in science and engineering and infrastructure and innovation, in education and environmental protection, especially science-based initiatives to help us minimize and adapt to global threats like climate change. And I'm confident we'll meet that task because we've got you, brilliant and committed scientists, to help us guide the way. And part of what's made the Academy so effective is that all the scientists elected to your elite ranks are volunteers, which is fortunate because we have no money anyway. For 150 years, you've strived to answer big questions, solve tough problems, not for yourselves, but for the benefit of the nation. And that legacy has endured from the Academy's founding days. And when you look at our history, you've stepped up at the times of enormous need and in some cases, great peril. When Woodrow Wilson needed help understanding the science of military preparedness, he asked the Academy's eminent scientists to lay it out for him. When George W. Bush, more recently, wanted to study the long-term health effects of traumatic brain injuries suffered by soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan, he set your scholars to the task. Today, my administration relies on your expertise to answer critical questions like, how do we set our basic priorities for research? How can we get the most out of the nanotechnology revolution? What are the underlying causes of gun violence? And more important than any single study or report, the members of this institution embody what is so necessary for us to continue our scientific advance and to maintain our cutting edge, and that's restless curiosity and boundless hope, but also a fidelity to facts and truth, and a willingness to follow where the evidence leads. Now, I'd like to acknowledge the other organizations that have been, obviously very important in this whole process. The National Academy of Sciences, the National Academy of Engineering, the Institute of Medicine, all who've contributed similar leadership in maintaining the tradition and upholding the highest standard of science. And by the way, we do have colleagues in Congress who believe in science and believe in evidence.